let's talk about self-love. Hey guys, I'm back with another video today. I have a very important video that I wanted to make for you guys, and that is how to self-love. Ever since I started my journey on self-discovery and self-love and all of that, I have never felt more in tune with myself in my life than I do right now at this very moment. If you really know me, or if you keep up with my videos, you would know that I feel like my purpose in life is to help, inspire, and teach others, and everything I've went through in my life so far has been a huge learning lesson for me, whether it was good or bad. I'm so thankful for everything that I went through. I believe that God has put me in certain situations to not only better myself and make myself stronger, but so I can experience it and learn something from those events to use my voice for those people that are going through similar things and don't have as loud of a voice as I do, because some people are nervous to share their stories. They feel awkward, embarrassed, or alone. And I've always been the type to not care what other people think. I'm not afraid to say what I've gone through, what I've felt, and I'm not afraid to show like the negative aspect of my life, because I know my life isn't perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I wouldn't want to be perfect. I'm here to take my experiences and share with you guys what I've learned and how I am becoming me every day with you guys, to hopefully inspire you guys and help you guys. And like I said, today's subject is self-love, which I feel is the most important, because self-love is the stem of everything. Self-love is for everyone. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter if you're single, if you're in a relationship, if you went through traumatic events, if you didn't go through traumatic events, if you've had the happiest childhood ever. Everyone needs self-love. If you don't love yourself, it'll be very hard for someone else to. What inspired my journey to self-love was I just went through so much emotionally traumatic events in my life that I was just so tired of not knowing who I was, hating myself, not being happy from within. It was very hard for me growing up. I grew up with my mom, who dealt with a lot of mental health issues. That took a huge emotional toll on me growing up. And I was in a 4-year relationship with someone who at the time was very toxic and narcissistic and emotionally abusive. And then after that, I took some time off to myself, only to end up in a relationship that I was settling in. I didn't really want to be in. I was in it out of boredom and loneliness because I just wasn't loving myself. All these traumatic events just led me to where I am now, and I am super grateful for that. People will ask me like, how do you love yourself? What helped me, first things first, is just being kind to yourself. And that might sound so cliche, but it's so true. So many of us will go on social media or even in real life and just joke around or not joke around about how much we hate ourselves, how stupid we are, how ugly we are, how boring or lame we are. And it's like, whether it's for a sense of humor purposes or not, we're putting that out there, and we're constantly telling ourselves, and our mind is constantly remembering that. And the more you say something, the more you're going to believe it. We make a mistake and we go, oh, I'm so stupid. Or someone compliments us and we're like, wow, you look really pretty today. And you're like, really? Instead of just accepting the compliment and saying thank you. Or making a mistake and telling yourself, you know what, it's okay, I'm human, we all make mistakes. Instead, we resort to insulting ourselves or not accepting compliments. What helped me is I was at one point extremely insecure about who I was, how I looked, everything. I just started giving myself positive affirmations every day. The more I started complimenting myself, the more I started to see how beautiful I really am. Tell yourself every day something that you like about yourself. And then the more you see that you're complimenting yourself, your flaws don't seem so much like flaws anymore. You start appreciating everything about you. Everything about you is beautiful. Even the parts of you that you don't like as much, they're beautiful. Everyone is made individually unique. Everything about you is special. Everything about you is unique. Complimenting myself started making me even love the not so beautiful parts of myself that I thought wasn't beautiful. Because as I continued to look in the mirror every day at myself, I saw an overall picture of me, and I started believing that I was unique, that I was special, that I was pretty, that I was kind. I started seeing all these things, not just outer surface things, but things on the inside as well. And when you like the things on the inside about you, it starts radiating on the outside as well, and you just start appreciating everything about you. The next thing that helped me is when I started setting boundaries for myself. You're basically putting things out there that's like, I'm not gonna put up with this because this gives me anxiety. This makes me feel bad. This doesn't make me feel good. Those boundaries, having them in place, will make you feel more relaxed, at ease, and just overall more happy. You're putting blockers towards the things that don't make you happy. Some people will try to make you feel guilty for making boundaries for yourself. Don't feel guilty. Those aren't the right people to have in your life then, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to be a part of your life. The wrong people will feel intimidated because then they won't be able to, you know, try to control you, take advantage of you, manipulate you, whatever. Especially for people in toxic relationships. Setting those boundaries will push them away, upset them, anger them. You have to be strong and put your foot down and really stand by your boundaries. The right people will stick around. The wrong people will show their true colors or just walk away, and that's fine. Let them. I had a huge issue with settling for less. I was a people pleaser, so I was making myself uncomfortable just for the sake of someone else's comfort. What helped me even think of my boundaries, I just wrote in my journal a list of things that I don't like. Start creating a list of boundaries for yourself, boundaries that you want to set, things that you don't like, things that you would not settle for, and it'll be a lot easier to be aware of all those things that kind of like trigger you and not make you feel good, and then you can remove it from your life. Once you set your boundaries, you're basically sticking up for yourself. That means that you have self-respect for yourself and self-love because you love yourself enough to place those boundaries and stick by them. Another step for me to loving myself was to just spend time with myself. Spend time alone. I'm more of an introvert, so I never really minded being alone, but the thought of being alone for a long time honestly scared me to death. What worked for me was I just isolated myself to the point where I was just doing things for me. I was doing things by myself. I was putting myself out of my comfort zone by going out to restaurants to eat by myself, going shopping by myself, you know, just doing things by myself without always having a friend to do it with or a boyfriend. And when I spent time with myself, I had time to think and self-reflect and really just enjoy my own company and hear my own thoughts and just enjoy me for me. And when I spent time alone, I started thinking of all the things that make me me. You know, it's so easy to hang out or date other people and get lost in them that you lose yourself and you kind of forget about who you are, your needs, your wants. And that is what honestly happened to me in my 4-year toxic relationship, that I was just so caught up in this other person that I didn't know who I was. I remember having this wow moment when I was just thinking to myself what song I wanted to listen to. And I couldn't think of a song. I couldn't think of what music I liked, what was my favorite music. Everything that came to mind was just that other person's favorite song or the type of music that they liked listening to. And I couldn't figure out like what was it that I liked. And that was a really like wow moment for me, because I was like, wow, I am so lost. I don't even know who I am anymore outside of this person. Once I started spending time alone and going out by myself, I started finding bits and pieces of myself along the way. I just started remembering all the things that make me me and all the things that I enjoy doing. I found new hobbies for myself. Spending time alone, I realized I love writing. So I started to journal in a journal every day, which has really helped me also on my journey to self-love. I write down how I feel, things that I like, things that I don't like. I write down just everything that crosses my mind, and it makes me feel so much better about myself, because as you're writing it, it just starts flowing out of you, because it's everything that you're keeping inside, and you just start writing and writing and writing and writing. Then by the time you're done, you go back and you read and you acknowledge how you felt, and you're like, wow, like I felt that. This is how I feel. And right there, you're self-aware of everything that you're thinking, everything that you're feeling, and then you can distinguish, do I want to feel this way? Do I feel happy? Am I okay with this? And everything goes from there. That's going back to boundaries. Then you can start setting boundaries for yourself, or just figuring out what you like and what you don't like, what you're willing to change, what you're not willing to change. So I think spending time alone has really helped me figure out who I am, because I not only put myself out of my comfort zone to do things that a lot of people would think is weird, like going out to eat by yourself, but it helped open my mind to who I am, who I want to be, who I was, who I'm becoming. It led me down new paths to different hobbies, which led me to new ideas, and new ideas leads me to being creative and finding passions and just going through life for you, not for anyone else, just for you. And lastly, what I think is super important for self-love is forgiveness. Forgiveness for those that have hurt you, and forgiveness for yourself. And honestly, this is probably the hardest part, at least for me. I started my self-love journey, I would say about 2 years ago. It's not gonna be a perfect, smooth ride. You're going to hit bumps in the road. Some days are gonna be better than others. Some days are gonna be harder than others. And when those hard days hit, you're gonna think like, what? Why am I having a bad day? Have I not made any progress at all? You have. And that's perfectly normal. I get that it's really hard to forgive those that have hurt you. For me, everyone that has hurt me in some way, I have forgiven them, whether that be I had a conversation with them for closure, or for some people I never got that closure, and I had to forgive them anyways for the sake of my own healing, because if you don't forgive other people, you're going to carry that hate or that anger or that horrible feeling with you for the rest of your life, whether they're still in your life or not. And it's gonna follow you everywhere you go, and it's gonna take away from feeling good and happy, or it might take away from other moments in your life. You need to learn how to let go and forgive. And I know it's so hard, trust me. But once you forgive, you'll feel so much lighter. What has been a huge issue for me that I'm still learning to get better at and heal from is forgiving myself for past mistakes and for things that I've allowed myself to go through or put up with. Even though I haven't fully forgiven myself for some things that I have done or put up with in the past, I have forgiven myself more now than I did before. Or I would wake up every day just so mad at myself, hating myself, and not even wanting to look in the mirror because I would just see like my past behind me, and it made me feel horrible. To forgive myself, I have acknowledged what I've done and accepted that what happened cannot be changed, and that it had to have taught me something, which it did. Writing my feelings down, talking it out with a close friend. For me personally, praying to God, I felt better, because once you acknowledge it, then you start to accept it. And then once you accept it, then you kind of realize that, like, okay, that's it. I already dealt with that. It's time to move on. And you move on with your life, you know? Forgiveness will make you feel so much better. You'll feel more love in your heart. You'll feel more optimistic and positive about life. You'll feel less burdened down by your past and by people that you used to know. And you'll have more of a fresh outlook on life. Alright guys, so that's the end of the video. I was honestly really nervous to make this video because I am not a guru, I'm not a professional. This is just what has worked for me and what has honestly helped me love myself more. So hopefully you guys take something from this video. Hopefully you guys learn something or apply something to your life. All in all, I just want you guys to love yourselves as much as you love everything and everyone else in this world. And just remember, everyone is super deserving of love and self-love. You're beautiful, you're special, you're meant to be on this planet living this life. You have a purpose, you're strong, you can get through anything, and you deserve nothing but positivity and happiness in your lives. If you guys like these type of videos from me, let me know in the comments or DM me on Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!